we're going to be doing something called sourcing. Say sourcing.
Sourcing.
Shia eyes up here. I have Lathan's eyes, Layla's eyes, all the middle column. Hatch and Clark eyes up here. Hands down. We're going to be sourcing today. Sourcing means when we do a lot of work before we even start to read. We're going to formulate an idea about what this source is about before we start. So let us begin. Let's look at the title first. Read the title to yourself and underline it. We're going to source everything from the title all the way through. I see Mr. Kane looking at the title. Underline that title. Layla has it underlined. Dariana has it underlined. We all have it underlined. Track me. Now the second thing we're going to do is read the source note. You see what's in italics right here? The stuff in italics is always important, and we're going to read that. I'm going to read it out loud. The law of Hindu is a religious text that describes the beliefs and rules of Hinduism. The book was written by Aryans after they moved to the Indus Valley. Both native Indus inhabitants and the Aryans followed the teaching of the law of Manu. Now you see at the very bottom, there's that chart. The author's point of view, let's look there. Who's writing this text? Raise your hand. Who's writing this text? Briari. The Aryans. Write that down. The Aryans wrote the text. So right there where it says author's point of view, the Aryans wrote the text. Thank you. Layla's writing Aryans. Well, Naya has it written. So does Derek. So does Devon. Good job, JP. The Aryans wrote this text. The Aryans. So what's the purpose? What type of text is this? Look back in the note. All that information is in the note. What type of text is it? Look in the note. Mr. Kane is looking in the note. Look in the note. What type of text? Raise your hand. Sion. It's a religious text. Write it down. Everybody has it. That's good. Write down religious text in the box that says author's purpose. What is the text about? We're going to add that in. So don't take up the whole box with religious. What do you think it's about? It is a religious text, but what is it about? Look back in that source note. Well, Naya, what's it about? Hinduism. Add that in. A religious text about beliefs and rules of Hinduism. Ronald's writing, Shai is writing it. It's right here in the source note. Look right here in the note. Thumbs up when you have that written down. And then we're going to move to the box at the bottom, not the very bottom. The box that says audience. Who's going to be reading this? Think about it for a second. In this time, we're trying to get in the time that this was written. Who's reading this? Who's reading this at the time it was written? Who was reading? Ronald? No, that's the law. That's the name of the text. But who's reading the text? Think about it. It's a religious text, like the Vedas. Remember, the Vedas is like a Bible for Hindus. So who's reading this text? JP? Aryans? Who else? Layla? But what religion do they practice? So who's reading? The Hindus, right? Write it down. So the Hindus are made up of Indians and Aryans. So the Hindus are reading this text. Anyone that practices Hinduism is reading. You need to write Hindus. Hindus are people that, like Christian is a person that practices Christianity. Hindus are people that practice Hinduism. But in that group called Hindus, you have Indians and you have Aryans. I have 100% of scholars writing down Hindu. Now write down in the jot what you think this source is about. Write down in the jot what you think the source is about. I need to show. Write down in the jot what you think the source is going to be about. So you have an idea of this is what you think before we even started to read the source. Zach is writing, Kiara is writing, Lentius is writing. You're writing what you think the source is about before we even start the source. Pencils down the back of me in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now it's time for us to actually go and read the source. But before we read the source, I want you to look at that picture. This picture is a different way of showing the caste system. It shows it as parts of the body. As you are looking at this picture, I'm going to give you 3 seconds, well, let's do 10 seconds to look at that picture. Notice who's included as parts of the body and notice who is not. Take a moment and look at the picture. This is a different way. We usually draw a triangle to represent caste, but now they've done it as parts of the body. Just take a mental note. Back up at me in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Look for eyes on me. I have Kiara, I have Rashawn, I have Layla Lunaya, I have Jamari, I have Angelica, and Raylan. Missing some people in the middle column, and we're ready to roll. Let's start. 8.43-14. This looks similar to me. This looks like another law code. What law code looks like this with all these numbers in the book? Hammurabi's code looks like this. That was okay to shout out, right? So this has some similarities already to Hammurabi's code, and we know that that was a very strict system, right? We had different rules for different people in different castes or classes, and it's the same here with the caste system. A Sudra must either purchase a slave from a Brahmin or become a slave themselves. Can you imagine that? You got to either purchase a slave for somebody else or you have to be their slave for them. Even if he is set free, track your paper, he must continue to offer his services. Need someone to read the next rule. Sion, start us off. Pass it to somebody else. Sion.
A Sudra is not allowed to collect wealth. If a Sudra does collect a large amount of money, he will give it to the Brahmins.
Alrighty, I'm looking at just the first 3 laws, and this last one that Layla just read stood out to me. It prohibits Sudras from collecting wealth, and Sudras are Indians or Aryans?
Indians.
So you're keeping the Indian people what?
Poor.
Poor. You're keeping them poor. They're at the bottom of the social class, and then you tell them, don't worry about it. You be a good Sudra, and on your next go round, in your next life, you'll get to move up. Think of, keep that in your brain. JP, go ahead. If a man.
If a man of a low caste takes a job reserved for a higher caste, he will be stripped of his property and banished.
Kiari.
A man from a high caste, he shall have it.
Wow. How is that similar to Hammurabi's code hands? That one was very, very aggressive, very physical. Rashawn? It's very harsh, right? Like what happened if you put out the eye of another man? Your eye is getting poked out. So that's incredibly harsh. But this is double harsh, right? Because you have race added into this. This doesn't apply to everybody. Lathan, the way Hammurabi's code did. Next law. Go ahead, Derek. Do your best. It's okay. Brahmin. fine. So that's only a fine. How come you think they're only a fine? Here are the Brahms and here are the Kashayas. Why do you think it's only a fine right here? Raise your hand. Mr. King, why do you think it's only a fine between these two social classes?
Because they're the highest of them.
They're the highest. What else? What else do they have in common? Nathan? They're both Aryans. We noticed that there was a really big difference when it was between a Brahmin and a Sudra, right? Somebody was getting hurt physically. But when it's within the same, not only the same caste, but the same skin color, it's a different vibe. Last one, I got it. The untouchables must build their homes outside of the village. They must make their money from raising dogs and donkeys. Their clothes must come from the skin of animals. They must eat their food from broken dishes. The untouchables must only walk from place to place. Flip on the back, we're gonna go ahead into source 2.